These people will disappear. Baba Vanga's hidden warning for the end of 2025. Predictions for 2025. Time doesn't just pass, it whispers, stretches, and sometimes it warns. In the final chapters of 2025, an ancient message quietly resurfaces, not from science or politics, but from the veiled visions of Baba Vanga, the mystic, who saw beyond what eyes could see. This isn't merely a prophecy, it's a puzzle of human fate. And at the heart of it lies a disturbing truth. Certain people, perhaps entire bloodlines, are destined to disappear. Not through war, not through fire or flood, but in ways that slip under the radar of our modern lives. Spiritually, mentally, energetically, as if reality itself is selecting who stays and who fades. If you've felt like something is shifting around you within your family, your community, or your own mind, this message may be meant for you. Before we dive into the hidden layers of Baba Vanga's final warning, remember, what you're about to hear might not just reshape your understanding of the future, it might challenge how you see yourself in the present. If you're drawn to questions that stir the soul and unveil the unseen, like this video, share it with someone awake enough to listen, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom, where we explore not just what's coming, but how to walk through it with mindfulness and meaning. Now, let us begin. Number 1. Who was Baba Vanga? Baba Vanga, known by many as the blind mystic of the Balkans, continues to spark deep curiosity and fear even decades after her passing. Born in Bulgaria and tragically blinded during childhood, she believed that this loss of physical sight awakened a far more mysterious gift, what she described as the ability to see beyond the present into the shadows of the future. To many, this claim might sound like folklore, but it's the striking accuracy and poetic intensity of her prophecies that have made her a lasting figure in global mysticism. While scientists often dismiss such phenomena as coincidence or misinterpretation, countless followers have pointed to events she seemingly predicted with disturbing clarity, events that shaped the modern world in ways we still grapple with today. For example, long before the world had ever heard of ISIS, Baba Vanga warned of a great war led by black flags, a haunting image that resonates strongly with the black banners carried by the extremist group in the Middle East. Similarly, her reference to 2 steel birds falling on the American brethren was later interpreted by many as a chilling metaphor for the September 11th attacks, a tragedy that changed global history in a single morning. And in 2004, when a devastating tsunami struck the Indian Ocean and swept away entire communities, people looked back to her prediction of a giant wave that would drown everything in its path with a sense of both awe and terror. These are not just vague guesses, but complex and symbolic expressions that, in hindsight, seem to capture something profoundly real. In today's fast-moving world, where news, technology, and crises evolve by the hour, it's easy to become desensitized to warnings or feel overwhelmed by uncertainty. But Baba Vanga's words challenge us to slow down and listen not with fear, but with awareness. They remind us that history often whispers before it shouts, and that sometimes the most unsettling truths come dressed in metaphor. Whether or not we believe in the supernatural, her legacy asks a deeper question: are we paying attention to the signs that surround us? As we approach the end of 2025, perhaps it's time to reflect more deeply not just on external predictions, but on our inner preparedness, the kind that comes from living with compassion, clarity, and care for each other. Because even if the future can't be fully known, how we respond to it is always within our control. Number 2. The Forgotten Prophecy and the Mark of Stillness. Let me share with you a haunting piece of prophecy from the mystic Baba Vanga that's been stirring hearts and minds as we move through 2025, a time she long foresaw as a turning point for humanity. One of her lesser-known, yet deeply unsettling predictions has now resurfaced, carrying a message that feels more relevant than ever. By the final sun of the 5th year, the world shall lose those who carry the mark of stillness. At first, it may sound like a line from poetry, enigmatic and mysterious. But as we dig deeper, we begin to uncover a profound spiritual warning hidden within her words. This isn't just about those who are idle or physically inactive. The mark of stillness goes beyond that. It's about those who have stopped growing inside, whose souls have become stagnant. These are the people who have turned away from their inner journey, lost touch with their purpose, and no longer align with the energy of transformation that life constantly offers. So, what happens to those who carry this mark? Baba Vanga didn't speak of punishment or pain, she spoke of disappearance, but not in the way we usually understand it. This isn't about death in the physical sense. It's about vanishing from the very fabric of existence. Some interpretations suggest that these people may be erased, not just removed from life, but from memory, history, and even the collective consciousness. Think about that for a moment. Not just forgotten, but as if they never were. Their presence wiped clean, like dust brushed from an ancient book before it's closed forever. It's not just haunting, it's a wake-up call. What makes this prophecy so powerful is the mirror it holds up to us. It challenges us to ask, am I truly alive, or have I become spiritually still? Have I stopped learning, stopped reflecting, stopped changing? Baba Vanga's vision is not just a prediction, it's a mirror reflecting our spiritual condition. Stillness, in this sense, is not peace. It's the kind of quiet that comes from turning away from growth, avoiding discomfort, refusing to face ourselves. It's a numbness that disguises itself as calm, but is actually decay. And if the universe is always moving, always evolving, then standing still means falling behind, not in status or success, but in soul. Now, here's the deeper question. What does it mean to evolve? Is it about achieving more, or about becoming more conscious? About awakening to the needs of others, about healing old wounds, about choosing kindness over comfort? The people Baba Vanga warns of are not bad. They are forgotten because they stopped seeking light. They gave up on their own becoming, and that's a fate more sorrowful than death, to fade away unnoticed, unremembered, untouched by the beauty of what life still had to offer. So, where does that leave you and me? It leaves us with a choice, to stay asleep or to wake up, to coast through life, or to dig deeper and ask ourselves, what am I becoming? What energy am I bringing to the world? Am I moving toward truth, compassion, and connection, or have I allowed fear, routine, or doubt to freeze my spirit? The prophecy doesn't have to be a curse. It can be a gift, a powerful nudge to check in with our soul's direction. Number 3. Parallels with ancient teachings and Eastern philosophy. Imagine for a moment that you're living in a time where the world feels like it's changing faster than ever before. Technology is advancing, values are shifting, and old ways of thinking seem to be crumbling. Baba Vanga, the mysterious seer of the Balkans, once spoke of a time when certain people would simply disappear by the end of 2020, Fivano, in some dramatic explosion or sudden vanishing, but through a slow, quiet fading out of relevance, presence, and spiritual connection. What did she mean by that? Her message, while wrapped in prophecy, mirrors ancient truths passed down for thousands of years through the spiritual teachings of Hinduism and Buddhism. In Hindu thought, we are now in the Kali Yuga, a time marked by spiritual ignorance, moral confusion, and disconnection from higher truths. This is seen not as a curse, but as the final chapter in a cyclic, necessary darkness before the light of the Satya Yuga, or Age of Truth, can rise. But transitions like this are not gentle. Just as a tree sheds its old leaves to grow stronger, the world too must let go of energies and souls that no longer align with the coming age of clarity and truth. Can you feel this shift in your own life? Are there parts of yourself or the world that seem to be fading because they no longer fit the rhythm of what's to come? This concept is not unique to Hinduism. In Buddhism, too, the idea of spiritual momentum is essential. If we stop growing, learning, and evolving, we risk becoming trapped in samsara's endless loop of suffering and illusion. As the Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. To be spiritually stagnant in such a pivotal time is not just dangerous, it may mean missing the very purpose of our existence. Baba Vanga's warning about those marked by stillness touches this exact nerve. It is a message not of fear, but of urgency and hope. She reminds us that the universe has a rhythm, and we must learn to move with it. Like a river, spiritual life flows forward. To remain still is to risk being left behind, not out of cruelty, but because the current can no longer carry that which refuses to move. So ask yourself, are you growing, or are you just surviving? Are you tuning into the deeper calls of your soul, or numbing them with the noise of the world? As we face the potential end of an age, this is not a time to be passive. It's a call to awaken, to examine our habits, our values, our attachments, and to ask ourselves whether they are leading us toward enlightenment or keeping us stuck in cycles that no longer serve us. Lao Tzu once said, "If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading. And if that direction is spiritual stillness, then according to Baba Vanga, the wisdom of the ancients, that path may lead to a quiet disappearance." But here's the beauty in all of this. Change is always possible. The teachings of the Buddha, the cycles of Hindu cosmology, and even Baba Vanga's prophecy all share a common thread, that we are never truly doomed unless we choose to remain unaware. Awakening begins the moment we realize we've been asleep. And so, this isn't a warning meant to frighten, it's an invitation. An invitation to reflect, to engage, and to ask, what am I doing with this one precious life? Am I aligned with truth, with growth, with compassion? The journey ahead may be uncertain, but with awareness and intention, we don't have to fear fading away. Instead, we can choose to rise, to evolve, and to become part of the new world being born. If you've made it this far, you're already awakening to the deeper truths behind Baba Vanga's mysterious predictions. Comment below with "Awakened Soul" if you're ready to face what's coming in 2025 with clarity and courage. Don't click away, there's still more to uncover. Stay with us until the end to reveal the warning signs and how you can prepare before it's too late. Number 4. Emerging signs. As we move further into 2025, something subtle yet deeply unsettling is beginning to stir around you, an echo, perhaps, of Baba Vanga's overlooked warning. What once felt like metaphor or mysticism now feels strangely aligned with patterns that can no longer be dismissed as coincidence. We're starting to see oddities not just in the physical world, but in the fabric of our shared experience. Across the globe, cases of people disappearing without a trace have been quietly growing, not only from streets and homes, but from the digital world as well. Entire online footprints vanish overnight. Social media accounts, emails, financial records gone, like they never existed. Friends and family speak of loved ones who seem to have been erased from memory itself, as if the emotional imprint they left behind is fading. Even photographs, once proof of our moments and relationships, are reported to shift empty spaces, replacing once familiar faces. These strange occurrences stretch beyond the limits of technology glitches or psychological lapses. They seem to hint at a quiet, hidden process in motion, peeling away certain lives from reality without noise or notice. digging deeper, something even more profound reveals itself within our bloodlines. Unpublished fragments of Baba Vanga's prophecies spoke cryptically of branches that no longer bear fruit being severed from the tree of mankind, a metaphor that now feels all too literal. Some families are facing the unexplained end of their generational line's infertility with no medical cause, or abrupt breaks in lineage that leave genealogists and scientists baffled. In even stranger cases, people are being discovered whose DNA offers no traceable heritage, no ties to any known ancestry, almost as if they either came from nowhere or were once part of something now removed. While modern science offers some explanations, the depth and consistency of these patterns suggests something deeper, something spiritual. Vanga's words imply this may not be about punishment, but about a karmic filtering where individuals no longer aligned with the energy of human evolution are being gently removed, not with violence or suffering, but with silence, as if time itself is rebalancing. So what does this mean for us today? In a world growing increasingly chaotic and disconnected, this message invites us to reflect inward. Are we living in harmony with our highest values? Are we nurturing relationships, acting with compassion, and aligning with truth? Perhaps the greatest danger isn't vanishing from sight, but from meaning losing our purpose, our awareness, our presence in this shared journey. The signs around us may not be meant to scare, but to awaken, to remind us that staying grounded in spirit, in love, and in the service of others might be the very key to remaining rooted in this unfolding future. As the world shifts, let us shift with it, not in fear, but in mindful responsibility, choosing every day to remain fully present in a reality that still welcomes us, as long as we choose to be here. Number 5. A nonlinear path toward awakening. Let's take a deep breath together and open our minds not to fear, but to understanding. One of the most overlooked yet powerful teachings left by the mysterious Baba Vanga is her view of time, not as something that moves in a straight line from past to present to future, but as something far more mysterious. In her vision, time isn't a road we walk down. It's more like a book with many pages that exist all at once. Some pages are ahead, some are behind, and some overlap like different chapters of the same story that speak to each other in whispers across eternity. Now ask yourself, what if every moment you've lived, are living, and will live is part of one great whole, happening not one after the other, but all at once? What would that mean for your choices, your growth, your path? Baba Vanga's way of seeing the future wasn't about guessing what comes next, like weather forecasting. It was about seeing patterns, emotional, spiritual, and cosmic patterns that repeat and reflect each other across the layers of time. Her mind wasn't bound by clocks and calendars. It was tuned into something deeper, something beyond the surface. She wasn't looking ahead, she was looking through. This is where her most chilling and symbolic vision comes in, what she called a tide of silence sweeping over the earth. But don't misunderstand, this wasn't about physical quietness. It wasn't about no noise. It was about no presence. A silence where people aren't remembered, aren't seen, aren't felt. It's as if they slowly dissolved into the background of existence, unnoticed and unmissed. Not because they died, but because they stopped being awake. This image of fading from time isn't meant to scare us, but to wake us up. It forces us to ask the question, are you truly moving forward, or are you stuck in place? Are you making choices, seeking growth, connecting with others, reflecting on your purpose? Are you living on autopilot, repeating patterns, ignoring that inner voice? According to Baba Vanga's view, standing still doesn't mean safety. It means slipping out of alignment with the energy of life. When you're not evolving, not learning, not growing, you don't just pause, you risk disappearing. Not in body, but in spirit, in memory, in meaning. You become one of the forgotten pages of time, unread and unwritten. This idea invites a powerful reflection. What does it mean to stay present in a time like ours, where everything changes so fast, where technology pulls us out of the moment, and where the pressure to keep up often drowns out the voice of the soul? How do we make sure we are still visible not to others on social media, but to the deeper forces of life, to our own true nature, to the universe that moves forward with or without us? Baba Vanga's message isn't a threat, it's a reminder. It's a spiritual call to stay awake, to act with intention, to connect with the world, with your heart, with your purpose. You don't have to be a prophet to see the patterns in your own life. You just have to pay attention. The past is not gone. The future is not far away. They are both present in the choices you make today. So here's what you can take from this. Don't wait for a grand sign to begin living fully. Don't stand still, thinking time will wait for you. Reflect, move forward, grow with awareness. Because in this world of shifting energies and silent tides, only the consciously awake remain heard, seen, and remembered. And that is how we become not just part of history, but part of life itself. Number 6. Signs of a spiritual reset. Imagine for a moment that the universe is whispering to you, not in words, but in signs, in energy, in the way the stars move across the sky. As we step deeper into the year 2025, many believe something profound is unfolding, something that touches not just the world around us, but the very core of who we are. According to ancient seer Baba Vanga, a hidden warning lies beneath the surface of our reality, a message about people who may, quite literally, disappear, but not in the way we usually think. This isn't about vanishing bodies, but about fading spirits, souls unable to keep pace with a great shift that's beginning to stir both in the heavens and within the earth itself. You may ask, what could possibly cause such a transformation on such a massive scale? The answer might lie in the sky above us. Right now, 3 powerful outer planets, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, aligning in a rare and mystical convergence. These aren't just distant balls of gas. In spiritual traditions and astrological wisdom, each of these planets represents deep themes. Saturn teaches us about karma and discipline. Neptune awakens our dreams and illusions, and Uranus cracks open the door to change and awakening. When they move together, they create what many call a cosmic trigger, an energetic gateway that opens us up to something bigger than ourselves. Could this alignment be the universe's way of nudging us, asking us to evolve, to grow, to awaken before it's too late? This isn't just poetic metaphor. All around the world, people are reporting sensations of energetic disturbance, anxiety with no clear source, vivid dreams, emotional intensity, or a sense that time itself is speeding up. Have you felt that lately? A strange feeling in your chest, a knowing that something is changing even if you can't quite explain it. These feelings may not be random. Scientists have been tracking changes in the Earth's Schumann resonance, its natural electromagnetic frequency, often called the heartbeat of the planet. Over the past year, this frequency has begun to spike and shift in ways we've never seen before. To those who study energy and consciousness, this isn't just a technical anomaly, it's a signal, a sign that Earth is raising its vibration, calling us to raise ours as well. Now think about this. What happens to a radio station that doesn't match the new frequency? It becomes static, it fades. Could the same be happening to people, those who are stuck in fear, resistance, or disconnection from their true self? Baba Vanga's message speaks to this possibility. She warned of a time when those who carried the mark of stillness, people who refused to grow, to open their hearts, to let go of old patterns, would begin to disappear. Not as a punishment, but as a natural result of being out of tune with life's higher rhythm. So I ask you now, as you listen, are you feeling this change? Are you noticing the signs in your own life or the world around you? This isn't about fear, it's about choice. Will you open yourself to evolve, to align with something greater, or will you resist and risk being left behind, not physically, but spiritually? The earth is shifting, the stars are aligning, and whether we realize it or not, we are all being called to tune in, to rise with the rhythm. What does that look like for you? Could it be embracing compassion more deeply, letting go of toxic habits, or simply taking a moment each day to sit in silence and listen within? As the spiritual frequency of our world continues to rise, the question isn't just who will disappear, but who will remain awakened and alive in the heart of this great cosmic transition. Number 7. What are governments not telling us? As unexplained disappearances and energy anomalies continue to ripple through remote communities and fringe reports, a deeper, more troubling question quietly rises beneath the surface. Is there a coordinated effort to conceal what's truly happening? Beyond the reach of mainstream headlines and government briefings, faint signals are emerging from intelligence whispers, particularly in Eastern Europe, the very lands where Baba Vanga once lived and made her mysterious predictions. According to these unverifiable yet persistent rumors, some intelligence sources allege that entire neighborhoods have fallen into a kind of collective amnesia. People not only forget those who vanished, they forget they ever existed. No birth certificates, no burial records, no digital fingerprints, and most chillingly, not a single person left to remember them. As though these souls were not just taken from life, but completely removed from the fabric of reality itself. It is this eerie absence not just of people, but of memory and documentation that sends chills through those willing to look a little deeper. And yet, despite the gravity of such claims, the world hears nothing. No news cycles, no public outrage, no investigative journalists digging in, just silence. A silence that feels far too convenient, too synchronized, too calculated. In our digital age, where even the most minor scandal spreads like wildfire, how can entire human lives vanish without even a murmur? Unless, of course, the silence is enforced. This brings us to a chilling possibility that governments, or perhaps hidden agencies, working behind the veil of official authority, know more than they're letting on. Perhaps they've intercepted documents, notes, or even private visions left behind by Baba Vanga that paint an even darker picture of what's to come. If that's the case, the question then becomes, why hide it? Is it to preserve public order, to avoid hysteria, or to protect knowledge that could destabilize the very structure of society as we know it? Throughout history, we've seen how institutions respond to disruptive knowledge. When prophecies or discoveries challenge accepted narratives, suppression often follows. The burning of manuscripts, the silencing of voices, the rewriting of history, these aren't tales from the distant past, but tactics still at play in the modern world. When power is threatened by truth, truth rarely sees the light. But in a time where awareness is rising and people are starting to question what they're told, this silence becomes even more suspicious. Could we be approaching a point where suppressed truths begin to leak, slowly yet irreversibly? And if so, are we prepared to handle what has been kept from us? For those listening now, especially those between the ages of 30 to 65, this isn't just a story about vanished people or secret predictions. It's a reminder to stay alert, to question deeper, and to resist the comfort of passive consumption. We live in a world where not knowing is often safer than knowing, but that safety can become a cage. The wisdom of ancient seers like Baba Vanga is not just folklore. It's a mirror held up to our collective consciousness, challenging us to see what lies beneath the surface of normalcy. So perhaps the real message isn't to fear what we're not being told, but to reclaim our power by seeking the truth ourselves. In an era saturated with noise, it is often the quietest truths that matter most, and those we must not let disappear. Baba Vanga's warning isn't just a story, it's a call to prepare. If you feel the urgency, type "I see the signs" in the comments to claim your awareness. There's still time, and still more to uncover. Keep watching, there's more ahead that could shift how you see the world and your place in it. Will you disappearer wake up? Will you disappearer finally awaken to your true self? At the edge of this era, as 2025 approaches, many feel a strange shift, like the ground beneath their lives is moving, silently, yet surely. Baba Vanga's prophecy about people disappearing may stir fear in some, but wisdom teaches us not to take predictions merely at face value. Instead, what if her message was not just about vanishing bodies, but about vanishing spirits, those slowly becoming numb to life, sleepwalking through days that echo without depth? The Buddha once said, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What you think, you become." In this light, the prophecy becomes less about doom and more about direction, a spiritual alarm clock meant to shake us awake from the illusion of a life unlived. Many today, aged 30 to 65, carry heavy burdens, careers, families, aging parents, lost dream sand in the quiet moments. They might catch themselves wondering, where did I go? The motions are all there, reeking, working, paying bills, but somewhere along the way, the essence fades. You may find yourself present in body, yet vacant in spirit, as though life became a routine instead of a purpose. This is the mark of stillness that was never meant to be peace. It is not the stillness of enlightenment, but a stagnant kind, a silent slipping into disconnection. Yet even here, there is no need for fear. No one truly disappears, as the original message reminds us, if they remain connected to themselves, to life, and to compassion. This truth is echoed in Buddhist wisdom that teaches presence is the only place where life truly exists. The fading we fear is not always dramatic. It often comes in the form of lost dreams. Think back, what was that one dream you had when you were younger? Maybe it was a creative pursuit, a business idea, a deeper relationship, or simply a more peaceful version of yourself. In the rush of responsibility, you may have put it aside. But here's a gentle invitation. Start small, write it down, bring it back to life by giving it a name again. Like a garden left untended, your inner world can bloom again, but only if you remember to water it. As Confucius once said, "It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop." So take one small step today. That's how people who are disappearing begin to return. And then there's the deeper question, the fire beneath the surface. What am I really living for? This isn't about abandoning responsibilities or chasing fantasies. It's about aligning with purpose. Are you evolving or merely surviving? Buddhist teachings often remind us of samsarathi cycle of suffering that repeats when we live unconsciously. But when we pause, reflect, and choose wisely, we step into Dharma, life of meaning, clarity, and connection. Purpose doesn't always roar. Often, it whispers. But you must be quiet enough to hear it. Modern life makes this difficult. Our attention is constantly pulled outward by devices, demands, and distractions. That's why one of the simplest but most powerful practices you can adopt is stillness, not to escape, but to return. Just 5 minutes a day. Sit, breathe, not to plan or solve, but to listen. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, not to achieve something, but to truly see. In doing so, he awakened. You don't need a tree, you just need space. Inner stillness creates the conditions for transformation. As Thich Nhat Hanh beautifully put it, sometimes your joy is the source of your smile. but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. In quiet moments, healing begins. Baba Vanga's prophecy becomes meaningful not when we look at it with fear, but when we look within and ask, "Am I still here?" Not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, meaningfully. If you've been feeling like you're slowly fading from the world around you, here's the truth. You can choose again. Each moment is a turning point. You don't need to see the entire future to change your path. You just need the courage to take one conscious step. Life responds to intention. When we show up fully, the world reflects it back. So let the message not be one of endings, but of awakenings. Those who disappear are not those without breath, but those without purpose. And yet purpose is always within reach, because it lives inside your awareness. Stay present, stay kind, be brave enough to return to yourself. In the words of the Dhammapada, better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Let that word be now. The future may hold mysteries, but the power to shape it lies in the quiet decisions we make, today not to stand still, but to move inward and awaken. And so, as we stand at the edge of this mysterious chapter in time, perhaps the real question isn't what will happen, but who will we choose to become? Baba Vanga's warning is not just a prophecy, it's a mirror, one that asks us to stay awake, to stay connected, and to keep growing, even when the world feels uncertain. If this message has stirred something within you, let it be the beginning of reflection, not fear. The choice to disappear or to awaken is not made in some distant future, but right here, in each moment we choose presence, purpose, and compassion. Thank you for joining us on The Journey of Wisdom. If you found value in this video, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the insights we'll be sharing in our upcoming episodes. Until next time, stay mindful, stay kind, and never stop seeking the light within.